Welcome back, Lincoln Currency. Imagine holding a simple copper-colored penny in your hand, something so small, so ordinary, that most people wouldn't even think twice about it. You toss it into a jar, drop it in your car's cup holder, or maybe use it to make up a few cents at the counter. But what if that very same coin, a 2016 1-cent piece, could actually be worth millions? Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet, stories like these keep surfacing across the United States, and every collector knows, never underestimate the power of a single penny. Because sometimes, a tiny mint mark, a small error, or a rare condition can turn a simple cent into a fortune. Today, we dive deep into the world of the 2016 penny, its value, its design, its secrets, and the incredible reasons why one could be worth up to $48 million in the collector's market. It all begins in Denver, Colorado, home to the famous D mint mark that appears on the lower right side of the 2016 penny, just below the year. That small D might seem like a tiny detail, but it tells us where this coin was born, struck by powerful machines in the Denver Mint, one of America's most historic coin-producing facilities. Each penny created there in 2016 carried the same iconic face of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, a man who reshaped the nation, preserved the Union, and forever symbolized freedom and leadership. The portrait on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner more than a century ago, remains one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coinage history. His initials, VDB, are subtly engraved near Lincoln's shoulder, a quiet tribute to the artist who gave life to one of America's most enduring symbols. Now imagine the process: sheets of copper-plated zinc fed into giant presses, each blank punched out with precise weight, 2.5 grams per coin. That's the official weight of a 2016 penny, made of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper, a change that happened back in 1982 when the U.S. Mint shifted from mostly copper pennies to zinc due to rising metal costs. Each penny measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a smooth, plain edge, no ridges, no shine of silver, just that familiar dull red-brown hue that we've all seen countless times. But while billions of these coins were minted, a few emerged with mistakes, minting errors that slipped through unnoticed. And those errors are what collectors chase, sometimes paying astronomical sums for the right coin. Think about that for a moment. A coin worth 1 cent, now selling for thousands, or even millions. What could possibly make that happen? For the 2016 penny, it's not just one factor, it's a combination of rarity, condition, and the mysterious allure of human error. Some 2016 pennies were struck off-center, where part of Lincoln's head or the inscriptions appear slightly shifted. Others have doubled dies, where the lettering or date looks doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. These errors are like fingerprints. No two are ever the same. And collectors, especially in the high-stakes world of numismatics, are always on the lookout for those anomalies. But let's talk about that unbelievable figure, $48 million. Could a 2016 penny really be worth that much? It may sound exaggerated, but in the collector's market, anything is possible when the right buyer meets the right rarity. There have been coins sold for tens of millions: the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, and the 1943 Copper Lincoln Cent, all fetching astronomical prices because of their stories and scarcity. So, when reports surface about a 2016 penny reaching a theoretical or speculative value of $48 million, what we're really talking about is the extreme top end of rarity. Perhaps a coin with a once-in-a-lifetime minting error, a perfect condition graded by experts, and a buyer willing to pay whatever it takes to own a unique piece of American history. Close your eyes for a second and imagine the coin itself. Lincoln's face in sharp relief, every line of his beard visible, the word Liberty shining boldly to the left, and just to the right the year 2016, followed by that tiny but powerful D. Flip it over, and you see the Union shield, 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, joined by a horizontal bar symbolizing the federal government that unites them. Above it, the words E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one. and across the shield, a simple ribbon inscribed with 1 cent. It's elegant, modern, and deeply symbolic, a design created by artist Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena, both working under the United States Mint Artistic Infusion Program. This shield design, introduced in 2010, replaced the older Lincoln Memorial reverse that had graced pennies since 1959, marking a new chapter in the penny's long story. The penny's journey through American history is unlike any other coin. From its debut in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday, to today's modern iterations, it has witnessed wars, recessions, moon landings, and cultural revolutions. The 2016 D penny is part of that living legacy, a continuation of over a century of craftsmanship and symbolism. But what most people don't realize is that even within a single year's mintage, subtle variations can exist. Some 2016 D pennies, for instance, have been found with die cracks, small raised lines caused by worn-out dies during minting. Others may have struck through errors where bits of debris, grease, or even metal shavings get pressed into the coin's surface, creating strange textures or missing details. Each of these anomalies turns an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. And here's where it gets fascinating. Collectors use a strict grading system to evaluate coins, known as the Sheldon scale, ranging from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 70, mint state 70, is considered flawless under magnification, a perfect specimen straight from the mint. A 2016 D penny in such pristine condition, with deep luster, full detail, and no scratches or bag marks, can easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Add an error, a unique die variety, or a high-profile auction setting, and suddenly, the price can skyrocket into the millions. That's how we arrive at those eye-popping figures like $48 million, representing the dream scenario for collectors, the discovery of a one-of-a-kind coin that defies all expectations. The story of such rare finds spreads like wildfire. Somewhere, someone sifts through their change and notices something odd, a misaligned strike, a doubled date, a copper tone that seems too pure. They post a photo online, and experts chime in. Soon, the coin is graded, authenticated, and featured in news outlets and collector forums. Bidding wars erupt. Everyone wants a piece of the legend. The humble penny, ignored by millions, suddenly becomes a symbol of hidden wealth, a reminder that treasure can hide in plain sight. The 2016 D penny has inspired that same kind of excitement among modern coin enthusiasts, driving people to dig through their jars, drawers, and wallets in search of that one special cent. And what about the composition? That thin copper coating over a zinc core? It's more than just metal, it's chemistry and history combined. Before 1982, pennies were 95% copper, and their melt value, the value of the metal itself, often exceeded 1 cent when copper prices surged. That led the mint to switch to zinc, dramatically reducing production costs. Each 2016 D penny contains about 0.088 grams of copper, worth less than half a cent in raw metal terms. But that's the irony. While the metal is cheap, the numismatic value, the collector value, can be astronomical. It's a striking example of how value isn't always about materials. Sometimes it's about meaning, rarity, and the human story behind it. Now think about how many of these 2016 D pennies exist. Over 7 billion were minted that year, an ocean of coins circulating across the nation. Out of billions, maybe only a handful have the kind of unique characteristics that make them special. That's why coin hunting has become a passion for millions of Americans. It's the thrill of the hunt, the dream of turning something small into something life-changing. People use magnifying glasses, microscopes, even high-resolution cameras to examine their coins, hoping to find doubled letters, missing mint marks, or unexplained features. Each discovery adds to the ever-growing legend of the penny that could make you rich. There's something almost magical about the smallest coin in America. It jingles softly among the nickels and dimes, almost invisible, yet it carries a story far heavier than its weight. The 2016 D penny might seem like just another copper coin, one of billions created, but beneath its simple surface lies a hidden world, a world of precision, craftsmanship, mystery, and immense value. Every curve of Lincoln's face, Every glint of the copper plating, every tiny imperfection tells a silent story written by machines, metal, and time itself. And it's in those silent details that collectors find fortune. When you think about money, you might imagine stacks of cash, glittering gold, or the shining silver of larger coins. But the penny, that humble, overlooked coin, is where the legends often begin. In the vast timeline of American currency, the 1-cent coin has been both a cornerstone and a survivor. Since 1909, when the first Lincoln cent rolled off the press, it has stood as a symbol of endurance, of national pride, and of artistry. And even in 2016, over a century later, that same coin, now struck at the Denver Mint with the proud D Mint mark, continues to capture imaginations across the world. Think about what the year 2016 represented. A time of change, technology, and new beginnings. The United States Mint was pushing out billions of coins to keep up with demand, and among them, countless Lincoln pennies gleamed under the mint's blinding lights. Most would end up in circulation, tossed into pockets, change trays, and soda machines. But hidden among those billions, a few emerged with unique stories, errors, double strikes, rare die varieties, the kind of imperfections that transform an everyday coin into a treasure worth far more than face value. This is the story that collectors live for. The thrill of discovery. The chase for perfection. The hope that a simple coin could hold unimaginable value. And that's exactly what makes the 2016 D penny such an intriguing part of numismatic history. To understand the full picture, we have to start with how this coin was made. Imagine massive coils of zinc alloy being unrolled inside the Denver Mint. Sheets of metal glide through high-speed presses, each blank carefully cut out, weighed, and prepared for its journey to become a Lincoln cent. A thin layer of copper is electroplated onto each blank, giving it that distinct reddish color we all recognize. The blanks are heated, cleaned, polished, and inspected before being fed into coining presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. With a pressure of over 35 tons, the dies imprint Lincoln's iconic profile on one side and the Union shield on the other, both designs pressed with microscopic precision. For most coins, the process ends there. But sometimes things don't go as planned. A slightly misaligned die, a worn striking surface, a piece of debris caught between metal and mold, all can create small anomalies that turn into big opportunities for collectors. A doubled die could cause the date or lettering to appear duplicated. A broad strike might stretch the coin's rim beyond its normal limits. A struck through error could leave mysterious textures or marks on the surface. Each one of these flaws, though accidental, makes the coin rarer, and rarity in the coin world is pure gold. Now consider this. The 2016 D penny's weight of 2.5 grams and diameter of 19.05 millimeters are standard, but what sets individual coins apart are those microscopic differences, imperfections invisible to the naked eye but priceless under a magnifier. It's these subtle details that can propel a single coin into headlines and auction blocks. A minting flaw, a unique tone, or a preserved luster can turn a penny into a multi-million-dollar artifact. Collectors often talk about the hunt. They say that the real joy of numismatics isn't just owning rare coins, but finding them, the moment when you notice a double line on Lincoln's profile or a missing mint mark that shouldn't exist. That tiny discovery, in that exact second, transforms you from a casual observer into a discoverer of history. And the 2016 D penny has given birth to many such stories, people finding them in pocket change, in coin rolls from the bank, or tucked away in old jars, only to realize later that they've stumbled upon something extraordinary. The Denver Mint's D mark has always carried weight among collectors. Coins from Denver are known for their sharp strikes and clean details. Yet even in such a precise environment, errors are inevitable. Machines run continuously, dies wear down, and human oversight, though minimal, still plays a role. Each time the tiniest mistake escapes detection, it adds to the mythology of the mint. Somewhere among those billions of 2016 D coins lies the perfect imperfection, the one coin that defies every standard, the one that collectors whisper about, the one that could command an unimaginable price. When the rumor spread that a 2016 D penny was valued at $48 million, the world of coin enthusiasts exploded with curiosity. Was it real? Was it a hoax? Could a penny really be worth that much? But behind the speculation lay a deeper truth. Value in the world of coins is as much about story and symbolism as it is about rarity. If a coin captures imagination, if it embodies a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, its value becomes limitless. The 2016 Pennies design contributes to its charm. The obverse bears Abraham Lincoln's determined face, a design unchanged since 1909, representing wisdom, sacrifice, and unity. On the reverse, the Union Shield, with its 13 vertical stripes bound together by a single horizontal bar, stands for the strength of a nation held together by shared purpose. The phrase, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many one, stretches proudly above it, a timeless reminder of America's identity. These design elements, subtle yet powerful, transform a simple piece of metal into a miniature monument of national history. Collectors often speak of the art of coinage. Each die, each engraving, each polish represents hours of human skill and artistic vision. The creators of the modern Lincoln Shield design, artist Lindo Bass and sculptor Joseph Mena, brought a fresh interpretation to the century-old penny, blending tradition with modern symbolism. That fusion of art and history gives every 2016 coin a unique emotional resonance. When you trace your fingers over a penny's surface, you're touching not just metal, but the continuation of a story that began more than 100 years ago. In that moment, you're connected to millions of others who have held the same design, from the early copper pennies of the 1900s to the sleek zinc ones of today. The Lincoln cent isn't just currency, it's a link between generations. Now imagine, within that long legacy, owning the rarest of the rare, a 2016 penny with an era so distinct, a condition so perfect, that experts classify it as a once-in-a-century find. The kind of coin that breaks auction records, that becomes the centerpiece of collections, that makes headlines around the world. It's the dream that keeps every coin hunter searching, every collector inspecting, every numismatist studying the smallest details. The market value of such coins is driven not only by rarity, but by demand. When collectors compete, prices soar. Stories spread like wildfire. A penny found in change turns out to be worth a fortune, another discovered in an old drawer sells for millions. These stories inspire hope, curiosity, and a growing community of people who look at coins differently. The 2016 penny, in that sense, has become more than money. It's become a symbol of hidden potential, a lesson that even the most overlooked things in life can hold unimaginable worth. And it's not just collectors. Economists, historians, and even everyday people are fascinated by how something as small as a 1-cent coin could generate such value and excitement. It's a reflection of human nature, our love of discovery, our appreciation for craftsmanship, and our endless fascination with rarity. Picture this: a bright copper-red coin, flawless under the light, every line crisp, every letter bold. On one side, Lincoln's thoughtful gaze frozen in time. On the other, the shield standing firm, symbolizing unity. You hold it between your fingers, and for a brief moment, it feels like more than a coin. It feels like a piece of America's story, compressed into metal, holding the weight of both history and mystery. That's the essence of the 2016 penny, and that's why people will always search for it, study it, and treasure it. The story of the 2016 penny becomes even more fascinating when you look closer at how this unassuming coin evolved from a simple everyday object into one of the most talked about modern coins among collectors. Imagine billions of coins being struck, all identical in purpose yet subtly different in outcome, each one passing through roaring minting presses, each one touched by heat, force, and timing measured to microseconds. In that furious rhythm of industrial precision lies the possibility of imperfection, and imperfection is where value hides. A small misalignment, a doubled image, a faint die crack, things invisible to casual eyes, can transform a 1-cent coin into a masterpiece of rarity. The 2016 penny is a perfect example of this delicate dance between perfection and mistake. Inside the Denver Mint, where these coins are born, the environment is nothing short of mesmerizing. Conveyor belts hum with speed, presses strike thousands of blanks per minute, and the metallic scent of freshly minted copper fills the air. The machinery operates with laser-like precision, guided by systems that ensure consistent pressure and flawless alignment. But even in such perfection, nature and mechanics have their own rules. The tiniest speck of dust, a worn die, a temperature fluctuation, any of these can alter the striking process just enough to create a variation that escapes detection. And when billions of coins are produced, even a handful of these rare variations can emerge, slipping silently into circulation, waiting for discovery. When coin experts talk about the 2016 D penny, they often speak of the mystery surrounding its rarest examples. Some are believed to possess doubled dies, where the inscriptions or date appear slightly blurred or shadowed, a result of a misaligned hubbing process. Others may feature die cracks running like veins across Lincoln's profile or along the rim, giving the coin a rugged, almost battle-scarred look. A few have even been reported with striking anomalies where parts of the design are faint or missing entirely, as if history itself forgot to finish writing the story on their surface. Each of these coins carries a personality, an identity forged in error and preserved by chance. The collectors who search for these anomalies are part treasure hunter, part historian. They use magnifiers, microscopes, and high-resolution cameras to analyze every ridge, every curve, every reflection. When a unique 2016 D coin is found, the moment feels electric. It's as if time stops, because finding a rare coin among billions is like catching lightning in your hand. You start to imagine where that penny has been. Maybe it sat in a cash register, maybe it traveled across states, maybe it lay unnoticed in a jar for years before destiny decided it was time to be found. Every nick, every tiny mark, every flash of shine becomes a clue to its journey. And then there's the grading, the process that transforms curiosity into value. Professional grading services, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, evaluate coins with near-scientific precision. They use the Sheldon scale, a system ranging from 1 to 70, where 70 represents absolute perfection. For a 2016 D penny to reach that upper echelon, it must display flawless surfaces, perfect luster, no bag marks, and impeccable strike quality. Even the tiniest blemish can mean the difference between a few dollars and a few thousand. But if, by some miracle, a coin combines pristine condition with a one-of-a-kind minting error, its price can reach heights that defy imagination, and that's where we start hearing figures like $48 million. The beauty of this coin isn't just in its rarity, but also in its story. The story of how a symbol of Abraham Lincoln continues to inspire more than a century after its creation. Lincoln's face has graced the penny since 1909, a design originally crafted to honor the centennial of his birth. The sculptor, Victor David Brenner, intended the design to reflect strength, compassion, and dignity. When his initials, VDB, appeared on the coin's reverse that year, it sparked controversy. People thought the signature was too prominent, and it was quickly removed, only to be reinstated decades later in a smaller, more discreet form. That very mark, those tiny letters near Lincoln's shoulder, connect every Lincoln penny, including the 2016 D, back to the origin of its legacy. Collectors often say that Lincoln pennies are more than coins. They are the storytellers of American life. Through every design change, every material shift, every historical event, the penny has persisted. During the Great Depression, it was copper that reminded Americans of endurance. During the war years, it was steel pennies, made in 1943 when copper was needed for ammunition, that symbolized sacrifice. And in the modern era, coins like the 2016 D continue that lineage, embodying the evolution of minting technology and design while preserving the same spirit of value and memory. There's something deeply poetic about holding a penny in your hand, especially one from 2016, knowing that within its small, circular frame lies a piece of national identity. The Union Shield on its reverse, introduced in 2010, replaced the long-standing Lincoln Memorial design. It's more than just decoration, it's a message. The 13 vertical stripes represent the original colonies, joined by a horizontal bar symbolizing the federal government that unites them. Across it, the ribbon reading, 1 cent, feels like a seal of unity, tying history and modernity together. Above it, the phrase, E pluribus unum, reminds us that out of many, we are one, the same principle that Lincoln himself defended at the cost of his life. In this context, every 2016 penny feels almost sacred, a miniature monument in your pocket. And that's why collectors, historians, and dreamers alike feel drawn to it. When news circulates about one of these coins selling or being valued at millions, it reignites that old fascination with the improbable, the belief that hidden treasure still exists, not buried deep in oceans or caves, but sitting quietly in the palm of your hand. Now, let's imagine the physical journey of a single 2016 penny. It leaves the Denver Mint in late 2015, packed in rolls, shipped to banks and distribution centers across the country. Somewhere in Kansas, a cashier opens a roll, placing it in her register. The penny passes from customer to customer, across counters, into wallets, through vending machines, across state lines. Years later, it ends up in a coin jar, untouched and forgotten. Then one day, someone empties that jar, notices something odd about the penny, maybe the color, maybe a faint doubling on the date, and decides to take a closer look. A magnifying glass reveals the truth: this is no ordinary coin. That realization, that sudden rush of discovery, is what makes the coin world so captivating. Because every rare penny was once just another face in the crowd, until someone looked closer. As stories of rare finds spread online, more and more people begin searching. Coin hunting becomes a modern-day gold rush, a shared adventure between strangers connected by curiosity. People film themselves unwrapping rolls of pennies, hoping to catch that one perfect error live on camera. And while most find only regular coins, the possibility of discovering something life-changing keeps them hooked. It's the thrill of maybe this next coin, this next roll, this next glance under the light will reveal a miracle. And in that sense, the 2016 penny is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of hope. It represents the dream that something small, overlooked, and ordinary could suddenly prove extraordinary. That dream fuels entire communities of collectors and inspires new generations to see value where others see none. Even for those who never find the $1 million coin, the search itself becomes rewarding, a quiet connection to history, craftsmanship, and the timeless American spirit of discovery. Every coin has two sides, but the 2016 penny holds entire worlds on each. On one side, you see Abraham Lincoln's calm, thoughtful profile, a face that has graced America's smallest coin for more than a century. On the other, the Union shield, strong, symbolic, timeless. Between these two faces of the coin lies an invisible thread connecting past and present, art and industry, the ordinary and the extraordinary. And the deeper you look, the more that small circle of metal begins to feel like a universe of history, craftsmanship, and chance. When people talk about the 2016 penny being worth millions, they often imagine luck, the right coin landing in the right hand at the right time. But luck alone doesn't explain it. The true story of such value is built on layers: the science of minting, the rarity of error, the artistry of design, and the passion of collectors. Each of these elements adds weight, meaning, and mystery to what seems like just another cent. Let's travel again into the minting halls of Denver, where the sound of machinery echoes like thunder, and the air hums with precision. Here, every coin begins as a blank disk of zinc, coated in copper so thin that a human hair looks thick beside it. These blanks, called planchets, are heated, cleaned, and pressed with enormous force to imprint the details that make each coin come alive. The dies strike at lightning speed, hundreds of coins per minute, each hit producing that sharp image of Lincoln and the shield. But imagine that the die shifts ever so slightly. The pressure might not be even, a particle of dust might interfere, the alignment could be off by the tiniest fraction. Suddenly, a single strike produces something different, a penny with a shadow, a doubling, a misprint. One tiny moment of imperfection among billions, and a collector's legend is born. This is where rarity enters the story. In a world of mass production, perfection is common. Every coin is supposed to look the same. But when something goes wrong, even slightly, the mistake becomes magic. That's the paradox that drives the coin world. Perfection is expected, but imperfection creates value. And for the 2016 penny, The search for those imperfections has turned into a nationwide treasure hunt. Collectors and hobbyists call it coin roll hunting. They buy rolls of pennies from banks, open them one by one, and inspect each coin under magnification. It's a meticulous ritual, patient, quiet, almost meditative. A good light, a magnifying lens, maybe a microscope, and thousands of coins passing between their fingers. Hours can go by before they find something that looks different, a thicker number, a faint doubling on the word Liberty, a line that shouldn't be there. And when they do, that tiny anomaly sets off an adrenaline rush like no other. Because that's how discoveries are made, in silence, by people who believe that even the smallest detail can change everything. Among all 2016 D pennies, the most desired are those with visible doubled dies or off-center strikes. A double die occurs when the hub, the device used to create the die, impresses its design twice in slightly different positions. The result is a doubling effect on the coin's surface, visible around letters or numbers. An off-center strike, meanwhile, happens when the blank isn't perfectly centered during striking, leaving part of the design missing. Both types of errors make coins unique. No two are exactly alike, and uniqueness in numismatics means value. There are also stories of 2016 D pennies with striking errors so bizarre they look almost sculptural, coins with missing layers of copper, showing silver-gray zinc beneath, pennies struck on dime planchets, thinner and lighter than normal. Even pieces where parts of the design seem melted or ghost-like because of grease-filled dies. Each one tells a different story of how chance interfered with machinery, turning an everyday coin into something worth studying, and sometimes, worth a fortune. The physical qualities of the coin also play a major role in its value. A regular 2016 D penny weighs 2.5 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters across. Its core is 97.5% zinc, its surface 2.5% copper, a combination that gives it the warm reddish color of classic pennies. The shift to zinc happened decades earlier, in 1982, to save costs as copper prices soared. Yet that change also created new collecting categories: copper pennies, from before 1982, and zinc pennies after. The 2016 D belongs to the latter group, but within that, collectors grade them by color and condition: red, the brightest and rarest, red-brown, and brown. A coin that still glows with full red luster, untarnished by time, can fetch several times its face value even without an error. Combine that with a rare strike or pristine grade, and you're looking at serious money. Grading is both an art and a science. Professional graders examine coins under controlled light, studying the surfaces for scratches, luster, and strike quality. The Sheldon scale, running from 1 to 70, defines value in exact increments. A circulated penny might grade as fine, or very fine, worth only a few cents. But a mint state 65, or higher, with mirror-like fields and no contact marks, can sell for hundreds. At the top of the spectrum sits MS-70, the perfect coin, flawless even under magnification. For a modern coin like the 2016 D penny, finding an MS-70 with a dramatic mint error is almost mythic, but if it exists, it could command the kind of headline-grabbing price that makes collectors dream in copper and zinc. Now, let's step back and see what this small coin represents beyond its market value. The Lincoln cent has outlived empires, economic crises, and even technological revolutions. It has survived the rise of digital transactions and the decline of physical change. The penny endures because it's more than currency, it's memory. It's the coin we give to children for good luck, the one people toss into fountains while making wishes, the one kept in pockets as a token of sentiment. It's woven into the fabric of American life, and the 2016 D, with its modern design and timeless symbolism, continues that tradition. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's gaze faces right, toward the future. The fine engraving captures the lines of his face with near sculptural realism, the furrowed brow, the determined mouth, the quiet strength in his expression. Above him, the motto, "In God We Trust," arches across the top, while Liberty sits to his left, and the date, 2016, with the D mint mark rests to the right. On the reverse, the Union shield shines like armor, a symbol of unity, resilience, and protection. The inscription, E pluribus unum, stretches above it, and the bold, 1 cent, lies across the banner at the center. Every detail is deliberate, each line carrying the weight of history. Think about how many hands a single penny touches in its lifetime: thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Yet the metal never forgets. Every scratch, every scuff is a mark of its journey through time. For collectors, finding a 2016 D penny untouched by circulation, fresh, unmarked, perfectly preserved, is like discovering time frozen in metal. That's why uncirculated rolls, especially those directly from mint bags, are so valuable. They are time capsules, holding the possibility of perfection within their sealed paper wrappers. When you trace the story of the 2016 D penny, you don't just uncover the tale of one coin, you uncover a reflection of America itself. Every groove, every letter, every glint of light off its surface is a quiet echo of the country's spirit: industrious, persistent, hopeful. The penny may be the smallest coin in circulation, but it carries a weight of meaning that no other denomination can rival. And that is why, even in an age where digital money flashes across screens faster than the blink of an eye, people still hold on to these small metal tokens as if they carry something sacred. Think about it. How many times have people brushed off a penny lying on the ground, thinking it's worthless? Yet that same tiny coin could be the one the world has been searching for, the coin struck with an impossible error, the coin collectors whisper about late at night in online forums, the coin that turns a pocket full of change into a fortune. That's the beauty of it. You never know. The universe hides its treasures in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And the 2016 D penny is one of those treasures, a coin that seems ordinary but hides infinite possibilities. When the Denver Mint produced these coins, the process was flawless by design. Billions of strikes, uniform and precise, leaving almost no room for error. But perfection on such a massive scale invites destiny to intervene. Even the smallest shift, a microsecond of mistiming, a speck of dust caught in the machinery, can create something that shouldn't exist. And once it does, that single error becomes a symbol of chance itself. Among collectors, the 2016 D penny is a modern mystery. Reports have circulated about rare doubled dies showing clear duplication in the date, or in the word Liberty. Others mention minor misalignments or faint die cracks running through Lincoln's coat or face. These tiny deviations may look insignificant to the untrained eye, but to a collector they are golden signals, proof that something unique has survived the mechanical perfection of the mint. Numismatists, the scholars of coins, have a saying: every minting error tells a story of the machine. And in the 2016 D penny, those stories come alive. Imagine the die press working at high speed, striking planchets in rhythmic motion. The steel dies heat with every impact, expanding, contracting, wearing slightly with time. Eventually, tiny fissures appear, lines invisible to the naked eye that slowly begin to affect the design. These create die cracks, cuds, or even doubled features, depending on how the metal shifts during each strike. The result is a penny that carries the signature of its own creation, an accidental fingerprint that sets it apart forever. It's this intersection of art, science, and chance that fascinates collectors. They know that behind every coin lies a perfect choreography of metal, motion, and energy. The Denver Mint, located in Colorado, has been producing coins since 1906 and remains one of the most advanced facilities in the world. Every coin struck there undergoes inspection, but even with modern technology, perfection cannot be absolute. Out of the billions of pennies made in 2016, a few will always escape with quirks, anomalies that defy standardization and feed the dreams of treasure hunters. And treasure hunters, they are everywhere. They exist in small towns and big cities, in school classrooms and retirement homes. They collect jars of change, searching under light and magnifier for that one gleam of rarity. Some find nothing for years, others stumble upon miracles. But what unites them is faith, the unshakable belief that something extraordinary might still be waiting among the ordinary. For them, the 2016 D penny isn't just currency. It's a puzzle, a challenge, a calling. the coin's physical properties only enhance its allure. Its diameter of 19.05 millimeters and its copper-plated zinc body make it instantly recognizable. Yet, under close examination, each penny has a unique texture, a faint difference in luster, a subtle hue shift in its copper tone, the ghost of contact marks from mint handling. These microscopic details are what separate a 1-cent coin from a $10,000 or even $48 million marvel. Because when an anomaly meets perfect preservation, the result transcends normal collecting and becomes legend. There's something deeply poetic about that. How a material so common, worth so little, can transform through circumstance and perception. The 2016 penny is the embodiment of that paradox. You could find one in your pocket change, completely unaware that you're holding a fortune. Its story asks a question that lingers long after you put it down. What if value isn't about what something costs, but about how rare it is to find something perfect in an imperfect world? Now, let's step into the human side of this story, the collectors, the hunters, the believers. In basements lit by magnifying lamps, people across the world sit at tables covered with coin rolls and notebooks. Each roll contains 50 pennies, 50 small possibilities. They unwrap one roll after another, letting the coins spill across the table in a shimmer of copper light. Then comes the search. Under a loupe or microscope, each penny is turned, tilted, inspected from every angle. They're looking for something most people will never see: a faint doubling of the word trust, a shadow on the date, a misaligned rim. Hours can pass before a single discovery. But when it happens, the rush is electric. That moment, that heartbeat of realization, is what keeps them going. One collector from Texas once shared that he found a 2016 penny with a clear die crack running through the shield. To anyone else, it was just another cent. But to him, it was a rare variation, a piece of minting history. When graded by a professional service and labeled as a verified mint error, its value skyrocketed from a cent to several $1,000s. That story spread online, inspiring countless others to check their change, to look closer, to believe that maybe, just maybe, they could find the next one. It's easy to underestimate the power of belief. But belief has built entire worlds, and the world of coin collecting thrives on it. The belief that value hides in plain sight. The belief that history repeats itself in metal. The belief that patience is rewarded. Every time someone picks up a coin and looks closer, that belief keeps the story alive. And the 2016 penny, with its whispers of rarity and its rumored $1 million fines, has become one of the most talked about modern coins in the collecting community. When news spread that a 2016 penny was allegedly sold for over $48 million because of a once-in-a-lifetime mint error, the numismatic world erupted. Whether myth or fact, the story captured imaginations around the globe. For some, it was proof that modern coins could still reach legendary status. For others, it was a symbol, a reminder that miracles still happen. What mattered most wasn't whether every detail of the story was confirmed. What mattered was that it reignited curiosity. It reminded millions of people that treasures might be hiding in their wallets, that adventure could begin with the smallest spark of curiosity. By the time we reach the heart of the story, the 2016 penny no longer feels like a coin. It feels like an artifact, a whisper of time pressed into metal. Each one that left the Denver Mint carried with it a piece of American heritage, and though billions were made, each had the potential to become something more than its humble worth. For most, the journey ended in pockets, purses, vending machines, and forgotten drawers. But for a few, destiny had other plans. A small misalignment, a shifted strike, or a microscopic error turned them into treasures of unimaginable value. Think about the number 48 million. It's a sum that could build houses, buy islands, change lives forever. Yet somewhere in that figure lies a single penny, the smallest coin of the United States, defying logic and turning ordinary copper into a fortune. The idea sounds unreal, but that's the power of numismatics. The science of money that reveals how value is born not from the material itself, but from the human heart's desire to find something rare, something impossible, something legendary. The 2016 Lincoln Cent is part of that great lineage. It's a continuation of a story that began in 1909, when the first Lincoln penny was struck to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, that original coin replaced the Indian head cent and introduced Lincoln's portrait, the first real person to appear on an American coin. The choice was revolutionary. Lincoln was not a symbol. He was a man, a leader who embodied the struggle, sacrifice, and triumph of the American dream. The public loved it instantly. The penny became not just a tool of trade, but a tribute to integrity and perseverance. More than a century later, that tradition lived on in the 2016 D version. Though the design had evolved, with the Union Shield replacing the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the soul of the coin remained the same. The shield represents unity, a reminder that America's strength comes from its ability to stand together. The single horizontal banner bearing the words, 1 cent, feels like a quiet promise that even the smallest denomination has meaning. That's why collectors still cherish it. The penny is the people's coin, familiar, approachable, yet capable of holding mysteries that even experts continue to unravel. If you've ever held a 2016 D penny under bright light, you'll notice the details leap out with astonishing clarity. The texture of Lincoln's coat, the tiny curve of his ear, the crisp edges of the lettering, all are the result of precision engineering and artistic mastery. Every line is intentional, every contour deliberate. It's a sculpture in miniature, and when you realize how many billions of identical impressions were made, the perfection becomes even more astounding. And yet, hidden within that perfection, imperfection lurks, the rare flaws that turn art into legend. In the world of collecting, errors are miracles. They are born from moments of chaos inside the machinery of order. A die might shift ever so slightly, or a planchet might slide a fraction of an inch out of place. Sometimes the metal mix isn't exact, or the pressure is uneven. The tiniest glitch, measured in thousandths of a millimeter, can produce an anomaly that no human eye was meant to see. But those who do see it change the story forever. Because in that instant, a penny becomes a phenomenon. Take, for example, a 2016 D cent with a visible double die on the date, the numbers appearing shadowed, doubled, like a ghost image layered over reality. Or consider an off-center strike where Lincoln's face drifts toward the rim, leaving part of the design missing. Such coins can command thousands of dollars, and if preserved in perfect, untouched condition, their value multiplies exponentially. Combine rarity with grade, an MS-70 flawless strike, untouched by human hands, and the result is beyond ordinary valuation. That's where the whispers of 48 million begin to sound not like fantasy, but like possibility. Behind every rare penny lies a chain of human stories. The mint worker who calibrated the press that morning. The quality inspector who missed a small imperfection. The banker who received a fresh roll and passed it to a customer. The child who saved it in a jar without knowing what it was. The collector who, years later, found it glimmering under the lens of a microscope. Each person becomes part of the coin's invisible biography, contributing to the miracle of its survival. And that's what makes coin collecting more than a hobby. It's archaeology of the present. Each discovery unearths not just metal but meaning. People who spend their evenings sifting through rolls of pennies aren't chasing luck, they're chasing connection. They want to touch the pulse of history. They want to hold proof that rarity still exists in an age of mass production. The 2016 D penny feeds that hunger perfectly because it's modern enough to be found by anyone, yet mysterious enough to feel ancient in its allure. The Denver Mint's mark, that small D beside the date, has become iconic. It represents not just a location but a legacy of craftsmanship that stretches across generations. The Denver Mint began as a private assay office during the gold rush, transforming into one of America's primary coin-making centers. Over time, it produced some of the most famous coins in history: the Morgan dollars, the Mercury dimes, the Wheat cents, and later, the modern Lincoln series. Each coin that bears the D carries a fragment of that legacy, a signature of precision and pride. But even within such consistency, the laws of probability never sleep. Among billions of flawless strikes, there are bound to be anomalies: a die that wore too long, a collar misaligned, a planchet too thin or too thick. Each of these microscopic quirks can result in a one-of-a-kind piece. When discovered, it becomes the focal point of global attention, featured in collector magazines, online auctions, and numismatic exhibitions. The 2016 penny, with its perfect balance of modern minting and occasional imperfection, has produced several such marvels, coins that have been authenticated, graded, and sold for extraordinary sums. And then there are the rumors, the whispered tales of the one coin that defies all logic. The 2016 penny said to be struck on a transitional planchet, a blank intended for a different denomination. A penny with the wrong metal composition, giving it an unusual weight and sound when dropped. A coin with a doubled reverse so bold that even the untrained eye can see it without magnification. Whether confirmed or not, such stories ignite the collective imagination. Because sometimes belief itself gives value. That's the fascinating part of numismatic culture. Every discovery fuels the next. The hunt never ends. The community thrives on curiosity, and curiosity is infinite. Forums light up with debates. YouTubers analyze each photo frame by frame. Experts weigh in, citing dice stages, metal compositions, and historical parallels. And every new rumor about the 2016 penny adds another layer to its legend. Even skepticism keeps the story alive, because mystery needs both believers and doubters to endure. Meanwhile, in the quiet of countless homes, people continue to search. They pour out their change jars, run their fingers through the coins, and lift one after another toward the light. Maybe they've heard the story of the penny worth 48 million. Maybe they don't believe it, not fully, but that tiny spark of possibility keeps them looking. Because what if it's true? What if, somewhere in their handful of change, they're holding a piece of destiny? Every time someone searches, the myth grows stronger. Every time a new discovery is made, the legend deepens. And in that sense, the 2016 penny has already achieved immortality. It's no longer just a date and a mint mark, it's a symbol of endless hope. Collectors often say, the hunt is better than the find. And maybe they're right. Because in the act of searching, in those quiet hours with a magnifier and a dream, people tap into something timeless. They become explorers of chance, archaeologists of the everyday, seekers of wonder in the smallest things. That's the real magic of the penny. It doesn't just sit in your hand, it stirs your imagination. The story of the 2016 penny keeps unfolding like an ancient legend wrapped in modern metal. Every time someone thinks it has been fully understood, another layer appears, a new discovery, a new rumor, a new spark of mystery that refuses to die. That is what makes this single cent so extraordinary. It is not just a coin, it is a riddle, a mirror reflecting our endless fascination with rarity, value, and the small miracles that hide in plain sight. Imagine standing inside the Denver Mint again, watching the rhythmic thunder of presses as they strike thousands of blanks every minute. The machines move with mechanical perfection, yet even the most precise system has a heartbeat, a rhythm where fate can slip in. A single slip in pressure or alignment, a fragment of grease on the die, a planchet of the wrong thickness, any of these tiny variables can create an anomaly. It lasts for only a fraction of a second, but that fraction is enough to alter destiny. And in that moment, a 2016 penny crosses the invisible line between ordinary and legendary. To the naked eye, it might look the same as every other cent. But under magnification, it reveals its secret, a doubled letter, a shifted rim, a faint ghost image of Lincoln's jawline. These imperfections become signatures of uniqueness. And in the vast ocean of identical coins, uniqueness is everything. It is what turns curiosity into obsession, and obsession into value. Collectors spend lifetimes chasing such moments. Some dedicate entire decades to the Lincoln cent series, cataloging varieties and errors with monk-like patience. They study die pairings, strike stages, and minting techniques. They know that every year, every mint, has its own fingerprint, subtle variations that distinguish one issue from another. And when it comes to the 2016 they are still finding new ones. Each discovery is like unearthing a new page in a living book that never ends. There's an almost romantic beauty in that. Think about it, a penny minted in 2016 could travel the world, pass through countless hands, ride in pockets, drawers, and cash registers, until one day someone with a keen eye stops, looks closer, and realizes they're holding history. It's a story of patience rewarded, of chance meeting preparation. And that is why even the smallest era pennies can fetch astronomical prices, not because they are made of precious metal, but because they are made of time, chance, and discovery. The Denver Mint struck over 6 billion Lincoln cents in 2016. The sheer scale is unimaginable, rivers of copper-colored metal flowing through machinery designed to achieve perfect uniformity. Yet somewhere among those billions, just a handful emerge different. Statistically, their existence is nearly impossible. But impossibility is what gives them power. It's what makes collectors' hearts race, what fuels the whispers of $48 million sales and legendary finds. To understand why a single penny could ever be valued at such a number, you must step into the psychology of rarity. Humans are drawn to what they cannot easily have. When something is one of a kind, the only example known, the only piece of its nature, it transcends logic. It becomes priceless. That is why paintings, stamps, or coins can sell for sums that defy reason. They are physical proof of uniqueness in a world built on repetition. And the 2016 D penny, with its subtle minting errors, stands as proof that even mass production can create miracles by accident. Some coins have already been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, returning with designations such as mint error, double die reverse, or off-center strike. Each slabbed coin tells a silent story through its certification label, its grade, and its rarity. The higher the grade, the clearer the strike, the stronger the error, the higher the value climbs. A flawless mint error in an MS-68 or MS-69 grade can be worth tens of thousands. Add provenance, a famous discovery, a historical first, and that price can rise to millions. But the $48 million legend attached to the 2016 D penny transcends even the collector's market. It has become folklore, a story repeated across news articles, YouTube videos, and online forums. For many, it represents the dream of finding fortune in the mundane. For others, it is an allegory of patience, showing that greatness can hide where you least expect it. In truth, whether that particular sale was real or myth matters less than what it stands for. The reminder that the smallest object can ignite the biggest imagination. The 2016 D penny also marks a point in history where technology and tradition meet. As the world moves toward cashless transactions, coins have begun to feel like relics from another era. Yet, paradoxically, that only increases their mystique. The more digital our lives become, the more we value the tangible. Holding a penny connects you to something ancient, a lineage of trade, touch, and trust that stretches back centuries. Each time you flip one between your fingers, you're handling a fragment of civilization. And what makes the Lincoln cent special is that it connects that ancient idea of money to a modern face of morality. Abraham Lincoln's image, carved in enduring metal, stands for honesty, struggle, and equality. It's no coincidence that his likeness adorns the smallest denomination. It's as if the mint itself was saying, greatness doesn't depend on size, and worth isn't measured in weight. The 2016 D penny continues that message in the 21st century, reminding every person who touches it that even the smallest things can carry enormous meaning. Sometimes, the value of the coin isn't in its metal or its rarity, but in the story it tells about us. The way people react to the possibility of a $48 million penny reveals something profound about human nature. It shows our hunger for wonder, our refusal to believe that everything valuable has already been found. It shows that somewhere deep down, we all still believe in buried treasure, and perhaps that's the real worth of the 2016 D penny, not its market value, but its symbolic one. It has become a cultural mirror, reflecting hope, curiosity, and imagination. Children hear the story and start checking their change. Retirees return to the hobby they loved as kids. Families gather around magnifying glasses, bonding over the hunt for something extraordinary. This tiny coin, barely an inch across, has reignited a passion that spans generations. If you look closely at a well-preserved 2016 D penny under direct light, you'll notice how its copper sheen seems alive. The surface dances between red and gold tones, the color shifting with every tilt. This phenomenon, called cartwheel luster, is caused by the microscopic flow lines from minting. Collectors prize it because it's proof of originality, untouched by wear, untarnished by time. A penny with strong luster, perfect strike, and full red color can command incredible premiums. Add even a minor die crack or double detail, and suddenly, you're holding a treasure few will ever see. And yet, for all its technical precision and economic intrigue, the 2016 D penny holds something softer, something almost spiritual. It reminds us that value is not only measured in dollars, but in discovery. That wonder still exists, hidden in the folds of the ordinary world. It tells us that if we look closely enough, even the smallest coin can tell the story of an entire nation, its craftsmanship, its ideals, its endless pursuit of perfection. The legend of the 2016 D Lincoln penny doesn't rest quietly. It continues to echo in online forums, numismatic journals, and collector conventions where whispers travel faster than truth. People tell stories of friends who stumbled upon pennies worth life-changing sums, of old coin jars and forgotten drawers suddenly turning into treasure chests. And even though only a handful of verified high-value specimens have surfaced, the myth keeps evolving, fueled by hope, fascination, and the eternal allure of what might be. Collectors understand something most people overlook, that every coin is a tiny time capsule. The 2016 D penny, despite its modern minting, has already become part of history. It carries the memory of a year defined by shifting politics, advancing technology, and changing economies. Its date, stamped in steel, marks not just the time it was made, but the world that made it. In 2016, the U.S. Mint struck billions of coins for circulation, yet few people could imagine that some of them might someday be priceless. Every one of those coins started as a simple copper-plated zinc blank, about 2.5 grams in weight, 19 millimeters in diameter, a sandwich of metal layers so thin they can barely be measured. Each blank traveled through conveyor belts, feed tubes, and coining presses at nearly unbelievable speeds. The Denver Mint alone could strike hundreds of coins per second, each one receiving Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait with the precision of a heartbeat. But perfection is never absolute, and in the minuscule deviations from that precision, the seeds of rarity are born. Imagine one of those blanks slipping slightly off-center. Or perhaps a tiny piece of grease filling a portion of the die, preventing a section of the design from striking fully. Maybe the reverse die, the one with the Union shield, develops a faint crack after thousands of strikes. Those moments are where the magic happens. What begins as a technical flaw becomes a collector's dream. A small doubled D mint mark, a misplaced shield line, or a distorted rim can turn an everyday cent into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. These rare errors often remain unnoticed for years. They pass through stores, vending machines, and hands without anyone realizing their true worth. But the moment someone with a magnifier and curiosity takes a closer look, the story changes. That discovery moment is electric, the instant when the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. It's what keeps thousands of collectors searching, hoping that today might be the day they find their own piece of numismatic history. And when they do, they don't just find metal, they find meaning. Because every rare coin carries a story far larger than its face value. The 2016 D penny, though technically worth only 1 cent, embodies the human obsession with perfection, chance, and discovery. Its story is a reminder that even in a world of mass production, uniqueness still exists. It tells us that rarity can't be manufactured deliberately, it must happen naturally, unpredictably, beautifully. Experts have spent hours under microscopes analyzing every known error from this year's Denver mintage. They've identified doubled dies on the obverse, slight misalignments on the shield's vertical lines, even faint doubling in the "In God We Trust" motto. Each of these varieties holds a different level of desirability, with some commanding a few $100s and others reaching unimaginable sums in private sales. But what drives the fascination isn't just money, it's the thrill of the chase. The idea that a coin struck to be common could accidentally become rare fascinates both casual hobbyists and seasoned investors. In fact, some investors now treat high-grade or era Lincoln cents like fine art, tangible assets with emotional value and historical significance. Auction houses have noticed this too. They've seen modern coins fetching prices once reserved only for ancient rarities or gold proofs. And while not every story of a multi-million-dollar penny turns out to be real, the fact that people believe it could be real is what makes the tale so powerful. The supposed $48 million valuation for one 2016 D specimen, whispered to have a unique die rotation and full mint-state brilliance, continues to ignite debate. Some call it myth, others claim it's based on an undisclosed private transaction. But regardless of authenticity, the number itself doesn't just represent currency, it represents belief. The belief that value isn't fixed by markets alone, but by emotion, curiosity, and the hunger for uniqueness. What's truly fascinating about the Lincoln Penny series is how it bridges the past and present. Since its debut in 1909, this coin has seen America through wars, depressions, revolutions, and renaissances. The 2016 D edition is part of that unbroken legacy. Its reverse, the Union Shield, symbolizes national unity, a continuation of the ideals Lincoln stood for. Each line in that shield, each engraved letter, is a small reminder of the country's endurance. Even as designs change, the spirit behind the coin remains. When collectors talk about the 2016 D penny, they're not just talking about metal, they're talking about identity. They see in it the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint, the continuation of a tradition that stretches back more than a century. They appreciate the precision engineering behind every strike, the skill of die engravers, and the sheer logistics required to create billions of perfect coins. And within that perfection, they find beauty in imperfection, because that's where humanity reveals itself. A penny is touched by countless lives. It sits in pockets, rattles in drawers, glints in sunlight on sidewalks. It travels through every layer of society, from the richest collector to the poorest child saving for candy. It's democratic in the truest sense, everyone can own one. And yet, among those billions, a few are chosen by fate to stand apart. That's what gives this small coin such emotional power, the idea that greatness can emerge from the smallest, most overlooked places. The metal itself tells a story. The copper plating gives the coin its warm reddish tone, while the zinc core ensures lightness and durability. But it also represents evolution, a reminder that the penny, once made entirely of copper, has adapted to changing times and costs. It's a survivor, like Lincoln himself, evolving through necessity but never losing its core identity. The 2016 D penny is part of that ongoing narrative, a symbol of endurance, adaptation, and quiet significance. Even now, experts debate whether future generations will still use physical coins. Some predict they'll disappear entirely within decades, replaced by digital currency and invisible transactions. But for collectors, that only increases the sentimental value of the coins we already have. Each cent becomes not just money, but a memory, a relic of touch, sound, and texture. The 2016 D penny will one day be an artifact of an era when tangible currency still connected us to the physical world. In this way, the coin's worth extends far beyond its monetary label. It carries emotional and historical weight, a link to national heritage, craftsmanship, and continuity. It reminds us that progress doesn't erase the past, it builds upon it. And that's why stories like the $48 million penny captivate millions. They bridge the space between fact and myth, between history and dream. So when someone holds a 2016 D penny today, they're not just holding metal. They're holding a fragment of American legacy, a symbol of perseverance, and perhaps, if luck smiles, a hidden treasure waiting to be uncovered. The faint DE beneath the date stands like a signature, proof of origin, proof of authenticity, proof of possibility. It's a tiny mark, but within it lies a universe of meaning. The most extraordinary part of this story is that any one of us could be holding that special coin without knowing it. It could be in your wallet, in a jar by the bed, in an old collection your grandparents forgot about. And that's what makes this tale so compelling. The idea that fortune could be lying quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. And maybe that's why the legend of the 2016 D penny refuses to fade. Because in every whisper about million-dollar sales, in every shared photo of a doubled die or a strange mint mark, there's a spark of hope. A reminder that luck doesn't always come in gold or silver, Sometimes it comes in copper, hiding behind the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, waiting to change someone's life forever. Now imagine this for a moment. You're sitting at your table late at night. There's a small pile of coins beside your phone, the kind of loose change you barely notice anymore. A few nickels, some quarters, and a couple of pennies dull from use. You absent-mindedly pick one up, roll it between your fingers, and for the first time in forever, you really look at it. The light catches the surface just right, and you see something unusual. Maybe a doubled mint mark, maybe a strange reflection on Lincoln's shoulder, maybe the tiniest misalignment that shouldn't be there. You tilt it again, and your pulse quickens. Could this be it? Could this be the one? Your mind flashes back to the stories, the 2016 penny worth millions, the mystery coin that broke the boundaries of imagination. You laugh at first, thinking it's impossible. But something inside you whispers, check again. And so you do. You reach for your phone, turn on the flashlight, grab a magnifier app, and zoom in. Suddenly, what was once a simple copper coin becomes a mystery waiting to be solved. The room goes silent except for your breathing. The light dances across Lincoln's face like a secret being revealed. You see the details sharper now, the mint mark, the date, the lines of the shield on the reverse. Every ridge, every scratch seems to tell a story, and that's when the thought hits you, what if one of these coins lying around your home is worth not just a few dollars, not a few hundred, but millions? What if that single penny, that you've walked past countless times, could change everything? That possibility alone is enough to make anyone's heart race. Because it's not just about luck, it's about curiosity, about paying attention to the things others overlooked. If you think about it, there's something poetic about this. A coin designed to represent the smallest denomination, the most common of all, now carries one of the biggest legends in modern numismatics. It's like a message from history itself, that greatness doesn't depend on size or appearance. That sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures hide in plain sight. Now I want you to think about your own change jar, your wallet, your old drawer filled with coins you haven't looked at in years. How many 2016 pennies have passed through your hands? How many times have you spent one without a second thought? And what if, just once, you held on to the right one? What if that coin, right now, is sitting just inches away from you, quiet, unnoticed, and waiting for discovery? That's the magic of the 2016 penny. It's not just a story about metal and mint marks. It's a story about possibility, about the excitement of never knowing when fate might smile at you. Every person who checks their coins becomes part of this ongoing legend. Every viewer watching this right now, whether you're a collector or just someone curious, is standing at the edge of discovery. The next headline, the next viral story about a record-breaking penny, could begin with you. So take a closer look. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Go grab your coins, especially your 2016 DS. Use a magnifier, check for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual detail. Compare it with online references or coin grading websites. Because the truth is, no one knows where the next $1 million find will appear. It could be anywhere. It could be yours. And if you think it sounds too good to be true, remember, every legendary discovery started the same way. Someone, somewhere, looked a little closer than everyone else. Someone believed that the smallest thing might hold the biggest surprise. That's how the great coin finds of history have always begun, with a spark of curiosity and a moment of patience. So tell me in the comments right now, have you ever found a rare penny? Do you have a 2016 coin at home? Have you ever noticed anything strange or unique on it? Maybe a misprint, a different tone, or a faint doubling? Share your story below, because who knows, maybe your experience could lead to the next viral discovery. And even if you haven't found one yet, there's something special about joining this search. You're part of a community that looks beyond the obvious, that sees value in the smallest details. You're part of a movement that keeps the history of American coins alive. Whether you're a collector or just a dreamer, this journey connects you to something bigger, to the craft, the history, and the thrill of discovery that keeps the legend of the 2016 penny alive. Because in the end, this isn't just about a coin. It's about you, your eyes, your curiosity, your sense of wonder. That's what gives the penny its magic. Every time someone decides to look, to question, to believe, the story grows stronger. The legend continues. So here's my challenge to you. After this video ends, don't just scroll away. Go to your coin stash. Look through your 2016 pennies. Examine each one carefully under good light. And if you see something unusual, something that feels just a little off, hold on to it. Protect it. Research it. You might just be holding a piece of American numismatic history worth far more than you could ever imagine. And if you find something truly extraordinary, come back here and tell the world. Because the next chapter in this story could begin with your discovery, a simple penny that turns into a symbol of hope, luck, and fascination for millions of people around the world. That's the power of this little copper coin. That's the energy that keeps collectors searching, dreamers hoping, and history alive. So go ahead, take one last look at that coin in your hand, and ask yourself, could this be the one that changes everything? And as we come to the end of this incredible journey through the story of the 2016 Lincoln penny, take one final moment to think about what we've really uncovered here. A small, ordinary-looking coin that most people walk past without a glance has turned into a symbol of mystery, fortune, and endless curiosity. It's proof that the simplest things in life can hide the most extraordinary possibilities. That within the smallest details, history and destiny can collide in a way no one ever expected. Somewhere, right now, billions of pennies sit scattered across the world. In pockets, in drawers, in jars, under car seats, forgotten at the bottom of purses. They seem identical, meaningless, just another coin among many. But hidden within those billions, a few rare pieces exist that defy the ordinary. The 2016 penny stands among them, quietly carrying a legend that refuses to fade. Think about how incredible that really is. A coin worth just 1 cent by law, 1 cent by face value, can hold a market value of $48 million in the right circumstances. That kind of transformation defies logic, and yet it's real, not just in money, but in meaning. It represents the idea that rarity, history, and human fascination can turn something small into something monumental. It's a story that reminds us that value isn't always about what something is made of, it's about what it represents. The 2016 Lincoln penny represents chance. It represents patience. It represents the human desire to find something special in the midst of the ordinary. Every single one of us has the same opportunity, to look closer, to search a little deeper, and to discover the hidden details that most people ignore. That's the power of perspective, and that's what keeps this story alive. If you've been following this video from the beginning, you now understand that behind the shine of this copper-plated coin lies a whole world of science, craftsmanship, and mystery. The U.S. Mint didn't just make coins, it created small metal archives of time. Every 2016 penny carries the fingerprint of the Denver Mint, the precision of its machines, and the dedication of its makers. And in that legacy, a few coins stepped out of the ordinary, transformed by fate into masterpieces of rarity. But beyond the minting process, beyond the market value, lies something even more important: the emotion that these coins create. The thrill of discovery. The joy of finding something extraordinary where no one else thought to look. The connection between the past and the present that only a coin can give. Because every penny has been touched by thousands of lives, carried through moments big and small, passed down through generations, and yet still holds its original face. Abraham Lincoln, the man who symbolized honesty, perseverance, and equality. And that's the beauty of it. A penny may be small, but its story is vast. The 2016 penny has become more than just a collectible. It has become a legend, a symbol of how the smallest pieces of history can hold the biggest mysteries. It reminds us that every day, all around us, history hides in plain sight, waiting for someone brave or curious enough to notice it. Maybe that's why this story has captured so many hearts. Because deep down, every person wants to believe that life still has hidden treasures. That there are still mysteries left to uncover. That something small, maybe even forgotten, can change everything in an instant. The legend of the 2016 penny proves that the world still holds surprises, and that discovery isn't just for the lucky, it's for those who keep their eyes open. So before you leave this video, take a moment to remember this story. Let it remind you that sometimes fortune isn't about finding gold or diamonds, sometimes it's about seeing value where others don't. Maybe the next time you pick up a penny from the ground, you won't see it as just loose change. Maybe you'll see it as a potential story waiting to be told, a small token of mystery connecting you to millions of others who believe in the magic of discovery. Because that's what this journey is really about, keeping that sense of wonder alive. The 2016 penny is not just a coin, it's a mirror reflecting our curiosity, our hope, and our belief that even the smallest things can hold the greatest stories. It has taught collectors, dreamers, and everyday people the same lesson, that greatness often hides where you least expect it. So whether you're a lifelong numismatist or someone who just stumbled upon this video out of curiosity, remember this: the next great discovery could be in your hand right now. The next rare penny, the next incredible story, could belong to you. Don't stop looking. Don't stop believing in the magic of the ordinary. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to share this video so others can join the hunt. Leave a comment about your own coin discoveries, your rare finds, or even your dreams of finding that one special penny. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring the hidden side of American coins, because there are still countless stories like this one, coins that hold secrets, histories, and maybe even fortunes. And as this story ends, let it stay with you, the story of 1 cent, 1 design, 1 mint mark that became a legend. The story of the 2016 Lincoln penny that showed the world that even the smallest piece of metal can carry the weight of wonder, history, and hope. Because in the end, it's never just a penny. It's a piece of the past, a symbol of chance, and maybe, just maybe, the key to a $48 million miracle waiting to be found.